90 days. That is all the time Keir Starmer might have left before Angela Rayner sits in the Prime Minister's chair at number 10. May is just around the corner, and the woman who once called Tories scum is now the bookie's red-hot favorite to lead Britain. Yes, you heard that right. Red Ann herself, tax questions and all, could be running the country before summer arrives. If that does not send a chill down your spine, you have not been paying attention. Welcome to Westminster, where your past is never really past and your enemies never forget. If you are enjoying this content, smash that subscribe button. Over 92% of you watching have not subscribed yet. It's free, takes literally 1 second, and helps us keep bringing you the Westminster drama you cannot look away from. Click the bell icon too so you never miss an update. Seriously, it means everything. Cheers if you did. Right, back to the chaos. So, here we are. Keir Starmer, the man who won a landslide majority just months ago, is now watching his political career circle the drain faster than you can say botched reboot. His own MPs are sharpening the knives, not even bothering to hide it anymore. Some despise him for abandoning Jeremy Corbyn's socialist utopia and committing the unforgivable sin of making Labour electable. Others simply think he's hopeless, weak, indecisive, a leader with the backbone of a chocolate teapot. Here's the thing about Starmer. A solid prime minister with a massive majority would have brought the party to heel by now, but under Starmer's watch, Labour is not heel-sitting, it's barking, loudly, at everything. The party is in complete disarray, and the vultures are circling. Now, you might think the Mandelson scandal alone would have been survivable, but when you stack that on top of a premiership that reads like a greatest hits compilation of unforced errors, humiliating U-turns, and policy reversals that make your head spin, you've got a recipe for political disaster. Someone has to replace him. The problem? The alternatives are somehow even worse. Let's talk about Angela Rayner, shall we? The Deputy Prime Minister who could very well be the actual Prime Minister in 3 months. The bookies have her as the odds-on favorite, comfortably ahead of Wes Streeting and everyone else foolish enough to fancy their chances. The momentum is entirely with her, and her rivals are dropping like flies. But here's where it gets absolutely bonkers. Britain might be about to appoint a prime minister with serious tax questions hanging over her head. Yes, you heard that correctly. The woman who has lectured the British public about paying their fair share, who has stood on her moral high horse about tax justice, has some rather awkward questions about her own tax affairs. Council house sale, capital gains, the whole messy business that never quite got resolved. Does her base care? Not even slightly. To them, she's Red Ange, the firebrand from Stockport who's not afraid to call conservatives scum, and they absolutely adore her for it. She's got an iron grip on the party's left wing and the unions, and in Labour politics, that's what truly matters. Policy, competence, tax compliance, details, darling, details. The irony is delicious, is it not? We'd be replacing a serial liar with a suspected tax dodger. I know what you're thinking. Labour couldn't possibly do that. They would never swap Starmer for Rayner under these circumstances. Well, that would be naive. Of course they can. This is politics. Shame is optional. Now, the coming leadership contest is going to be absolutely vicious. Think Game of Thrones, but with worse haircuts and more awkward silences. Rayner's camp is already sharpening their knives, and they're ready to play dirty. Very dirty. Enter Wes Streeting, stage left. He's Rayner's main rival, the health secretary who has actually managed to maintain some semblance of contact with reality, which, in modern Labour, is apparently a fatal flaw. Who knew being sensible could be such a career killer? But Streeting has got an even bigger problem. His mentor, his close ally, his political godfather, Peter Mandelson. Yes, that Mandelson, the Prince of Darkness himself. The very same Mandelson currently caught up in a scandal so explosive that police are raiding properties and communications are being disclosed faster than you can say, third time's not the charm. Streeting and Mandelson have been exchanging emails for years, lots of emails. Those communications might soon see the light of day as part of the wider Mandelson disclosure. One Rayner supporter, practically salivating with glee, told The Times that Streeting is finished, globing that more messages will come out and absolutely ruin him. With friends like these, who needs opposition researchers? So, if Streeting is toast, who's standing? Andy Burnham? The man isn't even in Parliament. Starmer blocked that route rather effectively. Which brings us to the most hilarious, most unexpected, most absolutely barmy possibility of them all. Brace yourselves, because you're not going to believe this. Ed Miliband. Yes, him, the bacon sandwich bloke, the man who gave us that awkward thumbs up, the leader the British public decisively rejected 10 years ago. He's next on the betting charts after Streeting, and he's polling strongly with activists. Let that sink in for a moment. Labour might actually force Ed Miliband on the country again, the same Ed Miliband who currently serves as Energy Secretary, throwing vast sums of borrowed money at fantasy green targets whilst the economy screams in protest. But activists love it. They absolutely love it. He's hoovering up the same left-wing votes as Rayner, which makes him the only figure with a realistic chance of stopping her march to Downing Street. Would Miliband even want to throw his hat in the ring again? It didn't exactly end well last time, but he's the only roadblock between Rayner and number 10, the only thing standing between Britain and Prime Minister Red Ange. Think about that for a second. The Labour Party, the party that won a landslide just months ago, is now facing a leadership contest where the frontrunner has tax questions swirling around her head, one rival is tied to a scandal-plagued mentor, and the other main contender is a man the country already rejected 10 years ago. You genuinely couldn't write this script. If you pitched this to a political drama producer, they would laugh you out of the room for being too unrealistic. But here we are, Westminster in all its chaotic, self-destructive glory. 90 days until May. 90 days until we might have a new prime minister. 90 days until Red Ange could be running the country. The knives are out for Starmer. His own party has turned on him. The momentum is entirely with Rayner, and the alternatives are either scandal-adjacent or political has-beens. What an absolute mess. What a spectacular implosion. What brilliant theater. So, buckle up, Britain. The next 3 months are going to be absolutely wild. Will Starmer survive? Will Rayner take the crown? Will Miliband make the most unlikely comeback since Lazarus? Will Streeting escape the Mandelson shadow? Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. Thanks for watching Westminster Brief. We'll keep you updated on every twist and turn of this unfolding drama. See you in the next one.